All right, guys. Today we have another interview with another pro wrestler, all the way from the UK. He goes by the ring name Jupiter. So let's bring him in. Here we go. Oh, you still there?
I'm here.
First of all, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
And the first question is, how did you get into the pro wrestling?
It's a good question. It happened by accident, really. During the coronavirus pandemic, we had lockdown,
Yeah.
and all the barbershops were shut. So my hair grew long, and so I ended up with this massive hair on my head, which I never used to have.
Okay.
I always had short hair. I was in the army as a young man, so I
Ooh.
always kept my hair short, and my hair grew longer in lockdown. And people started telling me I look like a wrestler and I should become a wrestler. And I just thought, how ridiculous! That's not a real thing. Wrestling isn't a real job. It's not something that normal people do. And I thought about it more and more, and I thought about some of the wrestlers from when I was a kid. I thought about guys like Steve Austin, Billy Gunn, and I thought I'm probably bigger than some of those guys, or at least the same size. And so I thought maybe I could be a wrestler. And then I thought, well, how do you become a wrestler? I had no idea. Luckily, somebody who was involved in some capacity in the industry pointed me in the right direction, and I ended up finding a training school, and it went from there, really.
Okay. So how long did it take you to get into the ring after you started at school?
So I went to the first training school for maybe 6 months.
Okay.
And then I got offered some jobs at very small independent companies. So I did those. And then I ended up going to a different training school. And then I didn't stay at that one very long, but then I went to another one, which was Marty Jones. Marty Jones's Squared Circle Wrestling Academy. So I met Marty. I went to his training school, and he very quickly started recommending me to people. So he started getting me a few jobs abroad. So I started doing a few jobs in other countries, and then around that time, I was doing a job up in the northeast in Newcastle. I'd been wrestling for maybe a year and a half at this point. And some of the guys that I met on this job in Newcastle worked for a couple of the touring companies, the big touring companies in Britain. So they recommended me to their boss, and he brought me over. He gave me a few jobs. I was absolutely terrible, stunk the place out. And he just recommended that I go away, get some practice, and he just said, we'll be in touch. So I thought that was that. I thought I was finished really by then. This is kind of 2 years. This was 2 years ago. So I thought it had finished as quickly as it started, really. I thought I had a go. Didn't really work out. But I went away and I carried on doing the small jobs. And then about 6 months later, the boss contacted me again. He said, we'll be bringing you back in next year. So then a year ago, he brought me on. I did most of the year with them last year. In between working for them and going abroad and doing the odd other independent job here, I had a unbelievably unprecedented busy year last year, and so far this year it's been even busier. It's been crazy, really.
So you've been to other countries. Like, what countries have you wrestled in?
So I've wrestled in Northern Ireland, which is kind of another country. And I mean, if we go by that logic, I've wrestled in Scotland and Wales as well. But I would say whatever. I've wrestled in Malta. I've wrestled in I've wrestled in Italy quite a lot, actually. I've been over to Italy about maybe 4 or 5 times. I'm going over again. I'm going over again in April, and then I'm going again in May. So they bring me back quite a lot over in Italy.
So with your experience, where would you say the fan base are more at?
That's a good question. So the company I work for predominantly, we tour. So we go all around England, we'll do each town once a year, basically. So we do the town halls. We do a different town hall every week. We do, 2 or 3 a week, whatever it is. And then in the school holidays, we do the holiday camps as well.
Okay.
So it's, for me, mostly families with young children who aren't kind of diehard wrestling fans. Obviously, on the independent scene, it's a little bit different, but I don't really do much on the independent scene.
Okay. So, how did you come up with your in-ring name, Jupiter?
That's a good question. Again, it happened kind of serendipitously, really. So, when I was in the army, let me start that another way. So Jupiter, when I started wrestling, the guys all used to call me Thor because I had long blonde hair.
Yeah, you do look like Thor too.
Well, I don't think I get paid quite as much as he does, but whatever. So I must be missing something.
Yeah.
So people were all telling me to go with some sort of name along those lines. I didn't really fancy it. I thought it was a bit old hat. But when I was in the army, the company crest, when I was in Afghanistan, the company that I served with, we had this crest that I always really liked. It was a kind of a Roman symbol. And I had decided early on I was going to use that when I started wrestling. So that's the logo that I have on my trunks. I have it on the back of the jacket as well.
Okay.
And the logo is actually called Jupiter's Thunderbolt. And Jupiter was the Roman god of thunder. He was basically the Roman kind of version of Zeus, but in the Nordic fashion of the god of thunder as well. I thought that was quite a serendipitous link to the Thor thing. So I decided on Tommy Jupiter. Yeah.
Nice. But what would you say the difference when you wrestle? What are the different styles when you're wrestling and when you go to other countries?
It depends. So when I went to Malta, I was wrestling a couple of Maltese guys who their coach is you might have heard Gianni Valletta. So he goes all over the place. He works in Japan, so he trains them in his, I guess, whatever he knows. But I was also working with there was an Italian guy called Fabio Ferrari. Now Fabio Ferrari used to come to England and he wrestled for Brian Dixon in the old days, which that's the company I work for now. So Fabio very much had the British kind of holiday camp style down. He's a fantastic worker and he looks $1 million as well. He's a very good looking guy. He's got it all, I'm jealous. He's this very kind of stereotypical Italian looking guy. He's got black hair, great body. And But yeah, so I didn't notice much style difference there per se, but then I've since gone over and worked for another company in Italy called Italian Wrestling Superstars. And their promoter is a guy called El Dinamico
Okay, yeah.
and his son, the Italian Dream. So they are a father and son duo, Sergio and Lucas. They're great guys. They're lovely. Sergio's from the Dominican Republic.
Ooh.
So his style, I mean, he's in his 60s now, but he still wrestles and he's still slick. But his style's very different, very free flowing, I guess. They just kind of, there's a lot of moving up and down the ring,
Yeah.
which I'm kind of used to because I work with Mickey Limerick quite a lot, who he just throws himself around everywhere. He's an amazing, amazing wrestler. So there's a lot of that, and they just kind of, they don't really call anything. They don't plan anything. They call everything. So you don't really know what you're going to get with those guys, which I kind of enjoy, actually. I like the freedom. The style, so Lucas is kind of a small guy. He's maybe 5'8", very muscular, very acrobatic. So there's a lot of acrobatic. But they also bring a lot of imports over from other countries, from Bulgaria, Romania, Hungary, Mexico, USA. So when I go over there, it's very much a mixture of different styles, really.
Okay.
Over here, though, the guys on my team came through the kind of the British, traditional British system, really, which is almost a dying art now. There's not very many people. There are kind of a very small handful of guys that came up through that system that are still involved in the job. So you've got guys like James Mason, Joel Redman, Spitty, Tony Spitfire, Mickey Limerick. There aren't many of them left. The ones that are left are getting on in years. We've still got some of the older guys knocking around, like Danny Collins and Marty Jones and Ian Wilson and Ian McGregor, but they are, they're not really in the ring working with you. So they'll give you feedback after your matches, but the kind of traditional British TV style of wrestling is there's very few people left who were involved in the job in that time with those people. And I'm extremely blessed and fortunate to spend a lot of time with some of those guys.
So would you say pro wrestling is big in the UK?
So I had no idea when I started. I had no idea because I wasn't into wrestling.
Yeah.
Wasn't a big wrestling fan, I watched the American in the 90s. I watched that a little bit, but not for long. Maybe for about a year, if that. And at the time, that was very popular. But I had no idea that there was, all I knew was what my dad's generation would talk about wrestling in their day. They would talk about, it's always the same. They say, oh yeah, Big Daddy, Giant A-Stacks, Mick McManus, Jackie Pallo. And that was about as far as it usually went with most people. Cat Weasel, Kendo Nagasaki, they would name those guys. But I had no idea that there was this whole not cult, but this whole society of people that lived and breathed in the job. And I also had no idea that it had such a big following. And I think because I grew up in an area where British wrestling, we didn't have the TV anymore, and British wrestling had gone a bit quieter. I grew up only really knowing of the American TV products, which was very, very popular. And as far as I was aware, that was all people were really into. I didn't know about the I don't think there was an independent scene back then in Britain. There was just the old touring companies. There was All Star Wrestling, and I think one or two others knocking around, just touring. So when I got into the job, and obviously a lot of time had passed since then, it's probably 20 odd years, and wrestling had evolved, and they'd since developed an independent wrestling scene because, training schools didn't really exist in the old days, and now they do. And so the job has changed a lot in many ways. Luckily, the company I work for is still very much, they do things the old-fashioned way, the traditional way, which I love. So yeah, there's a huge fan base for wrestling in the UK, but there are three different wrestling industries in the UK, really.
Really?
Yeah, and they're all very different. So you have, like, the company I work for, where you have family shows. We tour, we tour the whole country all year round. We'll come to a different town every week, and they'll see us once a year.
Okay.
And then in between times, we do the holiday camps. That's that's the remnants of the old traditional British wrestling industry that still exists. But then there are two other wrestling industries that are much newer. So you have the whole training school academy show system, where you have these training schools that started popping up in the 90s, beginning I think probably with Andre Baker's Hammerlock. I think that was probably the first. So once the training schools started popping up and people started going through them, and then I guess these guys would put shows on, and then eventually other little smaller independent promotions would start putting shows on. And then there's the third and kind of final one, which I think always existed in some capacity, but now it's a thriving industry, and that's the independent wrestling scene.
Yeah.
So, in the old days when you had TV, you had like joint promotions who they basically they all worked together and controlled the telly, and then you had the other promotions that didn't work together, and they were just putting shows on and doing ticket sales. And I think the independent scene is probably more of a remnant of that now, where they don't work together. They just work for themselves. They put shows in their local area, and that's just what they do. And that seems for a lot of them, or for some of them at least, to be going very well. They probably put shows on every few weeks, and the independent wrestlers will bounce around from one company to the next, so they can work probably most weekends. And that's, I think that's what most people think of when they think now in terms of modern day British wrestling. They think of independent wrestling. Those who are kind of wrestling fans, anyway. So yeah, that's how I see the job in its current form in Britain.
So yeah, this is a question I ask every single wrestler if I interview them. What do you like better? Do you like to be a heel, or do you like to be a babyface?
It depends.
Okay.
I predominantly do work as a blue eye, but whenever I get the chance to work villain, I really enjoy it. What I would say is I sometimes have some difficulty getting over with the fans as a villain, especially if I'm on with somebody who, because of the way I look, the fans to like me straight away. So unless I'm on with somebody who looks $1 million, it's difficult for me to get over as a villain with the fans, because they tend to like me. Okay. So I have to be on with somebody who looks really good for me to be a good villain.
Okay.
But it depends again, if the compare does their job very, very well, I don't have to do much. I come out and they already hate me because of how he answers. So
let me, you do wrestle in the UK. I did interview another UK wrestler, but have you heard of a wrestler called Sam train well.
Sam Gradwell.
Yeah.
He's a good friend of mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I did an interview with him a couple of weeks ago.
Right. Yeah, Sam's great.
Nice
Sam's
guy.
really great. I love Sam.
Had you ever wrestled him?
Do you know something? I haven't. I've worked on shows with him before. We've spent quite a bit of time riding in the car together to and from shows. And we talk on the phone now and again, but I haven't wrestled on a show with him. I was actually hoping to do that this summer.
Really?
Yeah, so I had actually, I was planning on doing a show of my own, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to at the minute because it seems like it's more stress than it's worth. I was planning on having Gradwell on and working with him.
Yeah, what a nice guy.
Oh, he's great. He's the best. He's so good.
Oh, super nice guy.
Yeah, and he looks $1 million as well.
Oh, yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
And he's a fantastic worker, fantastic athlete. Yeah.
And isn't he coming off an injury?
Yeah, he had an injury. Can't remember what it was now, but
yeah,
did he do his hamstring or his knee in or something?
Yeah, it was the knee.
Yeah, but he's back. I think he's back working again now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Sam's great. He's really great.
So, is the group of guys like really, really tight that you guys?
So there are several groups of people.
Okay.
So again, you know, I was talking about how there are three different industries.
Yeah.
And so you rarely find people who do all three.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you start with the people at the training schools who work at the training school academies, and then they'll work for other very small independent promotions, often run by promoters who had a go at wrestling, didn't really take to it, decided instead to start their own promotion and just wrestle on that. There tends to be a number of those promotions that exist where guys had a go at wrestling, couldn't really get much work, so they bought a ring, started their own company, and give themselves an opportunity to wrestle there. And because there's a number of those companies, those promoters all tend to work for each other on each other's shows. They wrestle on each other's shows, which gives them an opportunity to wrestle where they would otherwise not get a chance. They now get to work on kind of, 3 or 4 shows every month because they're working on one another's shows. Those are the promotions that tend to book the guys who are kind of just at or coming out of training schools as well. So you have those groups of guys, the promoters, and then the wrestlers that work on those types of shows.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have some of the training schools that put shows on a very high quality. So Future Shock, for example, will be one of those. They have a training school and they have some very good trainees, and they put on pretty impressive shows as well. And so again, it tends to be like little groups of people who work together a lot, travel together a lot. And then that's the same on the indies as well. So companies like whoever they are, Red Pro and Progress, and what's the one in Merseyside, TNT.
Mm-hmm.
You have these groups of people. So I think the Merseyside guys all kind of stick together. A lot of it's down to location. And I think the London people kind of stick together. So our All-Star team, the guys in the All-Star South tend to be together a lot more. And then the Northern team, we tend to spend a lot more time together. My group's really tight, yeah. I'm kind of the new guy. I am very much the new guy. Sorry, I'm not kind of the new guy. I am totally the new guy. Okay. Those guys have been wrestling a long time. They're all absolutely fantastic, years ahead of me. I'm just constantly just hoping I can keep up. Not often doing a very good job of it, but they're doing their best to get me up to their level. They really are. And I make them earn their money. Oh yeah, they have the work cut out if they get in the ring with me. But I think we have a pretty solid group. Everybody's good friends. There's no drama. Nobody hates each other. My boss wouldn't have you on the team if the lads don't like you, if they can't take to you. You're not going to be on the team. End of that. No, we don't tolerate. So if I get sacked, You'll know why, because I'm an idiot. Yeah, the boss won't have them on the team. He won't have people that aren't sound. You know,
Yeah.
people come and go. You see people that come and they don't last long, and it's because they're not nice people.
Well, I don't want to take your most of your time.
I don't mind at all, honestly. I've really enjoyed talking to you, actually. It's been cool.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Last two questions. Do you have the opportunity to work out for like American companies like AEW, WWE, TNA?
Well, there are a number of issues there.
Okay.
One is my age. I'm almost 40. So although I'm new to the job, I'm the same age as the veterans.
Wow.
So one, you know, if they were going to pick me or somebody my age who's been in the job 20 years, they're going to pick them because they're a lot better than me. So that would be the first issue I would encounter. The second would be my experience. I haven't been in the job very long, so I'm not that good at it. You know, if AEW or
Yeah.
WWE or TNA, did you say TNA?
Yeah.
TNA contacted me, I would ask them, "Are you okay? What have you been smoking?" Obviously, if the money was good, I would go, but I would like to think that they would. I couldn't do it. I couldn't go and do that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't go and wrestle on TV and stuff. Not right now, anyway. Certainly not right now. Maybe before I retire, I might get to that level. But right now, I just need to focus on just getting really firmly to grips with the job.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair.
But I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. You know, we're on the road. The guys are great.
Yeah.
Some nights it doesn't go as well as I'd like to. Some nights it goes really well, and I'm really pleased. I think I'm getting better. I'm quite happy. Well, Saturday didn't go very well, but typically it goes quite well. So you know, I'm on the up. I'm really pleased with how things are going. But yeah, I don't think Vinnie Mac's going to be ringing me anytime soon.
And the last question is, if you could put 5 wrestlers from the UK on the Mount Rushmore of UK wrestling, who would you put up there?
So is this like guys of all time?
Yeah.
So that's a tough question. If you asked me if it was which 5 UK guys right now, I could give you a really good list. But of all time,
or you can do it right now.
Well, I'll go with all time. I could give you a top 3 right now, and it's going to be Mickey Limerick, Joel Redmond, Sam Gradwell. After that, I don't know. But if we go all time, let's go all time. I mean, I suppose you have to look at the guys that went overseas and did big, you know. So you do have to look at guys like Regal and the big Scottish fella. What's his name? Drew McIntyre. You know, you have to think about those guys because of what they've done in the job, the amount of money that they've made. You know, it'd be all well and good to sit here and say, "Oh yeah, Johnny Saint, Marty Jones," you know, James Mason, but at the end of the day, this job is, I think, about more than just that. There are. You have to look at the money. You have to look at what drives ticket sales.
Yeah.
You know, in the old days, people were paying to see Big Daddy. You know, yeah, the best wrestlers on those jobs were Marty Jones and Rollerball Rocco. But the fans were coming to see Daddy, you know, and whether that was because he was getting a big promotional push or more than likely because he was larger than life, he had a kind face and he was great with the crowd.
Yeah.
He was a real life superstar that you could see, that you could touch, you know. So I think if you're looking at kind of British wrestling without looking at the guys that went abroad, you probably would have to put Daddy on the top of the list.
Okay.
And by extension, you'd probably have to put Haystacks there as well. It's a really difficult list because I think there are different categories. Because if you're looking at outside, you've got to look at Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
You've got to look at Regal. Yeah, and the other thing is, I came into the wrestling job late in my 30s, well into my 30s, and not having been a big wrestling fan. So most of what I know about wrestling comes from what I've learned since I've been on the job. You know, I didn't spend my 20s watching wrestling at all. So my knowledge only comes from what I absorbed from the guys at work, really. So yeah, I'm sorry, I can't give you a very good answer.
No. That was a good answer. That was a good one.
It's quite a convoluted answer. We didn't really get anywhere with it, did we?
No, we got somewhere.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad you think so.
But anyway, yeah, I really, once again, I really appreciate you doing this.
Thank you. No, I'm happy to do it. It's great. I would say top of my list every time is going to be Mickey Limerick. I can't put that guy over enough. He is the best kept secret in British wrestling. I promise you now, Mickey Limerick is the best kept secret in British wrestling. How he hasn't gone all over the world and made a ton of money. Well, I know how it's because he's been so busy wrestling here and doing what he's doing. You go on YouTube and type in Mickey Limerick and watch his videos, and you'll be like, wow, that guy is a superstar. He's unbelievable. Everything you could want in a heavyweight professional wrestler and more. Wow. And he's a great guy as well. He's a lovely man. He's helped me loads. So I will just take every opportunity I can get to tell the world about Mickey Limerick before he's 100 and dies and doesn't get a chance to become the world heavyweight champion in America.
But yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No problem. No worries at all.
You have a great night.
You too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.